Well, this is going to be a short final video. I have everything together, as you can see. When I first started it up, I had a leak coming from, this is what they call the derby cover right here. And I had a leak coming from down here. Harley used to have just a O-ring, brown black O-ring around here, kind of like what you saw when I put the inner primary back on. And they made a new gasket for it, which was thick or wide, and it went around there without the O-ring. Well, that didn't work, and I was leaking like a sieve down here. So I put the old O-ring back on it with the new gasket over top of it, and that stopped everything up. So this is all done. These little bolts here go on in a certain pattern, which I found out after, but I went what you would call opposite until I got to the end, inside to out. This is what happens on the Ford as well. When you do the oil pans, you're supposed to go inside, bolts on each side, and then work your way outward as you torque them down. These are like really soft torques, something like 7 to 9 foot-pounds. It's very difficult to find a torque wrench to go that low on foot-pounds, so I just converted it to inch-pounds and used my cord drive. This is I kind of messed up on this a little bit. This is a little bit too far forward. You can't see the shifter. This is the solenoid, and the shifter is probably a little bit too forward, but right now it works okay. I took it out for a ride a day ago, a couple times, and so far so good on the shifting, but this side, here's the transmission, and everything is, of course, sorry, my cigar I just inhaled my cigar, so I'm going to be loopy here in a minute. Not leaking. The exhaust pipes were the hardest thing to get on. I had to change up all of the brackets in here because whoever had this before me over torqued them, and they were, you know, what you do is you set them on a flat surface, and if they wobble back and forth, which mine did, then you need to replace it, so I did that. And all the braided lines are in. I braided this line. This is an electrical line, and I used a hose. This is right here, a hose to braid the electrical line so I could reroute the switch, because usually what happened before is they went way underneath the oil tank here and up through the middle of it, and you couldn't get the wires out, so I did that. Anyway, all this stuff works in good clean order, with no leaks. I'm actually rather shocked. I don't know if I showed anybody this, but my caliper here, this is the part that I had to cut off, that bolt right there, and there were nicks all over it, and I just did auto body on it, to be honest with you. Did the auto body stuff, primed it, wet sanded it, and put a high temp paint on it, and it's turned out okay, and I kept the original. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, there's nothing really to report. This baby works great, and I have a lot of folks to thank. Jersey Customs, Gary at Jersey Customs, which I've talked about before. Oh, when you take out this bolt of the rocker box and I put it back in, also when I started it up, aside from having that leak on the other side with the derby cover, I was leaking profusely out here. So this cost me another day essentially in prep. So what I had to do was I took the bolt out and I put some ultra black around the hole and a little bit on the bolt, and then what you always do with RTV is you put it in finger tight and then you let it sit for 24 hours. If you don't do that, it screws up. You can't, I mean, this is why people can't change oil pans, because it they put Permatex or gasket maker on it, and then they tighten everything down. You can't do that. You have to let it sit overnight on finger tight. So that's it so far. I'll update if I've screwed something up, to be honest with you, and so hopefully I have not. And for right now, I'm gonna be done with this, because the next project is this baby, and this is actually what I was gonna do when the Harley went down with its clutch. So let me just show you here what's involved. Right here, this is the internal shaft, and I've probably, you can't see it very well, but if I get my hand on this whole U-joint right here spins, so I'm gonna have to pull this, and that may mean that could be tough. So this is all going to be pulled. I have a ball joint here that I may replace, a ball joint up here that I may replace, but this whole shaft, which goes all the way back into here, has to be moved out that way. And to change this U-joint, you can understand why they didn't do it for it. You can hear it. You can hear this thing rocking around in here, which is not good. There's one on the other side, but that's going to be the later one. But this is going to be the new. This is going to be the new project here coming up. I think that's it. Just about everything on here is new. Way up there, new. So the restore on the Ford will continue.